Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Virgo in mid-June 2021. What's going on, Virgo? How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing well. All right, friends, welcome to mid-June, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Please take very good care of yourselves and those that you know and love, all right? No announcements here in mid-June, Virgo, so let's get into it. Anything you want, timestamp is down below. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me is down below. And if you have any interest in following me on Instagram, even though I'm terrible at it, pardon me, feel free to drop me a follow over there. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment here on YouTube as well, all right? All right, guys, let's see what's going on for you in mid-June 2021. Messages for Virgo, mid-June 2021. Show me. Messages for Virgo, mid-June 2021. That's very interesting. That kind of just like slid out underneath there. We'll take it. I feel like that's on purpose. So, all right. So let's see what else is going to come out. Virgo, mid-June 2021. Boy. Four of Wands. Yes. All right. Interesting. Yeah, two cards that like were not super pronounced. They didn't jump out. They weren't like, very subtle energy is what I'm feeling. So let's see what you got. First one, Hierophant, Four of Wands, and then the Hangman. All right, that makes sense. Hierophant and Hangman. Not always obvious. Not always, boom, here it is, Hierophant, Major Arcana for Taurus. Hangman, Pisces. Could be dealing, don't have to be. Virgo, I think... I hate this phrase, and this phrase is said to me more often than not by a particular Virgo. It is what it is, and I hate it so much. But that's kind of what this feels like. It is what it is. And that is your mindset. That's somebody else's mindset. That's the approach, the resolution. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that is kind of weak. It's whack. It's not progressive. There's comfort in it is what it is. There's familiarity there. And that has been thematic for a couple of signs this month. You're the 11th I'm doing in this series for the mids. So that's been coming up. And at each turn, there has been some dissension from that idea of what's normal, what's expected, what's predictable, what's safe, what's comfortable. There's been pushback against that with reason. Here, it's not big pushback. It is just an idea that says, I don't like this, or, it is what it is, and things are how they are, but I don't think I'm into it. There's like a questioning. I wish it was stronger because I think it's your energy, Virgo. If it's not yours, it's somebody else that you're dealing with. It can be a vice versa reading. But there is this energy of, but is it the way it is? Or is that how it should be? Or maybe I'm not seeing this the way I should. Or maybe I should think of this in a different way. And then other people, because the Hierophant has an audience, right? The central figure in the card has all these other people listening to him or, sort of monitoring his moves and studying him and being good students, right? So there is this observation of, well, how do they do it? How does he do it? How does she do it? What's expected here? And there's a benefit. There is a benefit, at least one, but probably several, to following along with the program. But the program can only take you so far. Four of Wands can only take you so far. Four of Wands is good, steady, sturdy, good foundation, good legs, good bones, right? That's great. But a house cannot be built or excuse me, a house is not a foundation by itself. You have to build upon it, right? So there's this idea with the Four of Wands, great foundation, great structural outline, or whatever I'm talking about, a relationship, a job, whatever. I don't know what specifically this is relating to Taurian energy, and I just did their reading. I can't remember what it was about though. Oof. Anyway, that's terrible. Yeah, it's more than a foundation. A house is more than a foundation. The foundation is very important. If you have a bad one, you're probably going to build a shitty house, but you don't stop at the foundation. You build walls, you put in doors and windows, you install plumbing and heating and electricity, you furnish the home, you paint it inside and out, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole thing that is beyond just the foundation. And that is possibly what's going on here, Virgo, is appreciating the entire picture versus just this one sort of spotlight, sort of like what's encircling his head there, right? There's more to this than than the spotlight. There's more to it than just the spotlight. Now that, I think, again, I'm speaking of what goes into the making of something, to the creating of something, to the sustaining of something, more than just the spotlight. But the phrase itself can also be sort of a play on words in terms of fame and fortune and adoration and accolades, right? More than the spotlight. So for some of you Virgos, you might be relatively famous in certain circles or in certain professions or for whatever reason, right? You might be well known, or you know someone who is well known, and they are telling you it's more than the spotlight. I think anybody who in this day and age for the past 20, 30 years who thinks that celebrities just have the easiest life, if you literally think that, you are, no offense, a fucking fool. Seriously. Because as much as there's tons of privilege with celebrity, tons of privilege with being famous, having money, having access, tons of privileges, but you lose things as well. And people expect things of you that they would not expect of a normal human being, such as being photographed in public for no damn reason. I am literally a famous actor, singer, whatever, walking into Target. 15 people whip out their phones. Why? I like Captain Crunch just as much as you do. This is not newsworthy. I don't wear makeup. I didn't wake up like that. I woke up like this. Lies. She don't wake up like that. Nobody does. So what's the hubbub here? More than the spotlight. That's a bit of a rant, because I don't think, no offense to anybody, most of you are not famous who are watching this or dealing with people who are, but they're maybe, again, famous in certain circles, or in terms of the Hierophant, having a position in a certain community as a leader, as the head of a household, as a brand ambassador, or whatever. You don't have to be a Kardashian or some shit like that. But there's this idea of having a role, and it's not what it's cracked up to be. Someone is coming to that realization. Yes? Yes. Okay. So this could be you. Here we go. This could be you having a silent struggle. Because let me tell you, Virgo, if this is you with the it is what it is, but also more than the spotlight, like those two things kind of exist within you, perhaps. This is a struggle that you are not broadcasting. You're not sharing this out. This information, this idea, this mindset, this feeling that you have inside of you. You're being very quiet about it. It's not all it's cracked up to be, but at the same time, it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do to change it because this is the rules, these are the regulations, this is my lot in life, this is the role I play, this is who I am. Is it? It's very limiting. Limited. Potentially limited with the Four of Wands, because it's more than the major arcanas, the minor arcanas, the pip cards, they're sequential, right? They can play into each other and off of each other a little bit more. They can ascend and descend in whatever way, to whatever benefit or deficit. Yes? The major arcanas are a little bit more, quote unquote, stagnant. They're a little bit more thematic. They're a little bit more big picture. And on either side, the big picture struggles to see more, struggles to see and embrace what is yet to come, what could develop, what could change. Let me tell you about the Hierophant. Not a big fan of change. That energy, not Tauruses or any particular one person, but the energy of the Hierophant is very prescriptive. It is what it is, and that's all it ever will be. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Nothing on this earth is what it used to be. Nothing. You didn't come out of your mom's womb being 6'2", weighing 240. You didn't come out of your mom's womb with hair down to your ass and a full set of teeth. So it doesn't make sense that it is what it is and that's how it's always going to be. That is not life, period. So that's my big gripe with the Hierophant energy, is it is prescriptive. It does kind of instill these things in us. There's good things. Let me back off of Hierophant and not beat up on this energy so much. Hierophant talks about fidelity, talks about having faith, talks about working with a community or working within, the greater good for all, right? That's in there as well. But it also is there's a lot of friction with the Hierophant energy when we begin to think of what else could we have? Because I've already established this. I've already made the foundation. Here we go. Think of it that way. What I was talking about foundations before. You build a foundation for a home. Put it on the ground. And then you start to build the home. And then someone comes along and says, hey, maybe we should build, I don't know, instead of a duplex here, instead of a single family home, let's build a mansion here. How are we going to do that, Terry? The foundation is for a single family duplex. The plans that are on the ground and the cement and everything that's here is for that type of house. So that's when the it is what it is hits friction, because it doesn't, quote unquote, allow new information in, doesn't allow circumstances to change, because that means uprooting the foundation and changing it into something else. That is what's here. I feel you or someone you're dealing with or several people in the situation, because again, we have a group on the Hierophant card, not on board with that. Not a fan of this information or this idea of things becoming something else. Situations, circumstances, relationships changing. That is abhorrent. That is not cool. Not what someone has planned for, not the foundation that someone has set up for themselves or set up in the situation. This would require going back to the drawing board, getting new perspective, new eyes on the situation, opening up to new ideas, being receptive to all of that, and possibly having to take an extended break of time. Maybe you're on a deadline. Maybe literally you are building something and someone comes back to you and says, hey, can you alter your plans? Which means that fucks your deadline. And you're like, no, I cannot. I will not. I shall not. So there's a resistance here. Okay. I think that explains all of that. So let's just see what else they have to say here for you, Taurus. What other information? Oh, they're reminding me of the subtlety of the cards, how these two cards came out. And those are the cards that are, again, of like struggling to get on board with new shit. Yeah? Again, not broadcasting this. If you have to change plans because of new information that someone brings to you, you're not broadcasting that it's happening, or you're not broadcasting that you are resistant to change. So someone says, can you do it? You might say yes on the surface. Inside, you're just like dragging your feet, not wanting to respond, not wanting to be proactive in the situation. You're just like, you're resenting this idea of implementing the change. All right. So what other information do you have for Virgo in this situation? Please tell me what else you have for Virgo in this situation. Give me more information here for Virgo, please. Mid-June. Some of you, it's a family dynamic. The group of people is a family. Four of Wands next to it. Hierophant is a card of marriage. Look how the card fell from the bottom. If you've watched me before, most of my cards pop. They pop from the top of the deck. But two of your cards have fallen from the bottom. So it's like, again, what I'm expecting the cards to fly from the top of the deck. They've actually fallen to the board from the bottom. I'm okay with it. Even though I'm a fixed sign, I don't really like that kind of stuff. But as the reader, it doesn't bother me. But again, like, this is thematic. It's reflecting what's going on in your life. What you expect to happen one way happens a different way. And you don't like, you do not like, you are not a fan. No ma'am, no sir. All right, so one more, please, explaining what else is going on here for Taurus. Excuse me, not Taurus, Virgo. Virgo in mid-June 2021. What else is happening for Virgo? One more card, please, to show me. And again, they are like, see. They're like, again, trying to give affirmation. These cards are not coming in the way that I, the reader, would expect. And if you've watched me before, you would also be like, hey, that's not normally how Jay takes cards. But here it is. Ten of Swords. Yep. And Queen of Cups. Some of you are dealing with a person and they are the source of the change. They are the source. Like I said, someone's coming to you and like, hey, can you make this instead of that? And maybe that's literally what is going on. Maybe this is in a work situation. Maybe it's in a domestic situation. You have it in your mind that I want it to go this way, and your partner, your colleague, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, whomever, they're just like, can we do it this way? You're like, okay. You agree, even though it's torture. You agree, even though you hate it. You agree, even though in some senses you feel betrayed, backstabbed, left for dead. Now, that could be a restructuring of a contract in either a domestic situation or a work situation. Like maybe you've renegotiated something. You don't have cards of contracts here, so I'm only using it as an idea. I don't really see cards of contract here. But let's say it was a contract and you've renegotiated terms. You're used to, for the past 5 years, the terms being this. And now all of a sudden, Queen of Cups here, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces is like, but let's try this. And you're like, how could you do this to me? That screws my plans. That moves my timeline. That messes with my deadline. That screws with my materials. That screws with my bottom line. How could you do this to me? You're taking it very personally. I don't know that this person is acting that way intentionally, but that's how it's being received, as a personal attack. This is a setback that screws me so hard, Sharon. Why would you do that to me? And Sharon's just like, is quite unaware, probably. Queen of Cups is quite unaware. Doesn't have to be a female, it doesn't have to be a water sign. But there's this feeling of, because you're not, because you're not telling people, I'm not trying to fault you. You can say and share what you wish is your life. But I feel people don't know what you know. And that could be the cause. Or, I don't want to say could be the cause. That could factor into the discomfort that you feel in the Ten of Swords. If you don't tell people, not your whole plan, but the ballpark of what you're aiming for, like let's say the deadline thing. Let's say you've got a deadline 2 weeks from now. And somebody comes and they put something else on your plate, or they change what they're bringing to the table. And now all of a sudden, you know that's going to extend your project another 2 days. It's 2 days past your deadline. If you had told the person, hey, I've got a hard deadline in 2 weeks, anything that you want to be done in the project, any problems you have, come to me as soon as, so that I can alter my schedule accordingly. Now, I've dealt with several Virgos in my life. No offense, but sometimes you guys are very presumptive. You think people think how you think because how you think is correct. Sorry, said it. No regrets. But that's what been my experience with you guys. Some of you, not all of you, clearly. And then it comes to a situation where you have to realize, you don't have to, but it might behoove you to realize that, hey, If I had told this person I have a hard deadline, if I told this person this was my goal, if I told this person I was comfortable with the foundation that was laid out before us and I didn't want to change it, then maybe they wouldn't have initiated a change. But the Queen of Cups goes with what they feel. The Queen of Cups is very much, expressive and changeable. The Queen of Cups is very much, I like this, but I also like that. Can I have both? Oh, I have to decide. Okay, then I choose this. Oh, wait, no, I changed that. It can be fickle. If we were to give it a less than admirable descriptor, can be fickle. But if you don't tell this person, you can't be fickle, you can't change your mind, you can't bring me information late in the day because that screws my deadline. If you don't tell that person that, they're just going to behave that way. So a little bit of the onus here is on you, Virgo, for not being proactive or as forthright with information. And I don't know your reasons, but I would venture a guess that if you know this person personally, you did not want to run the risk of hurting their feelings. You didn't want to run the risk of encouraging them to be fickle, encouraging them to overload you with new information. Because if I tell them I have a deadline, then they're just going to run their mouth and they're going to say all these other things. So if I just keep it under my hat, then they won't go off the rails. Well, it's off the rails anyway, Virgo, that's your reading. If this reading made sense to you, if it resonated with you, leave a like, share a comment if you choose. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get at me for a personal reading, you can find out how to do so by looking in the description box below, okay? Virgo, I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video, taking your time. Thank you so much for that. Take care.